Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hatch Family Hustle. Today's episode, we are going to go over our change of plans for our house buying process. I dropped a short, I'll show it here on screen for you, but dropped a short about a couple weeks ago, talking about our 3-year plan and how we're going to use my employee stock purchase plan to save up for a down payment in about 3 years. And Ali and I have been talking, and we've kind of decided to go in a different direction. So this episode is going to cover that. We're going to go look at some first-time homebuyer data, look at some first-time homebuyers, sort of like common guidelines, things that'll help us, get ready to purchase a house, and hopefully you can take some value from this. So with that, let's get into it. So let's take a look at some first-time homebuyer data really quick, just to see what the market's like. So currently, you can see um, the demographics. So this is probably the most shocking, honestly. The median age for a first-time home buyer is 40 years. Uh, that's crazy to think about, that people are 40 years old buying their first house. But I mean, it makes sense. The way housing has risen, it takes a while for people to be able to afford a house, and yeah, so this is crazy, but um, especially I think too because our society is really pushes you to buy a house. Like my whole life, at least since I've graduated from college and started working, people tend to lean towards buying versus renting. It's always like, oh, renting is just a waste of money. You should own, save your money, whatnot. But I tend to disagree. I think it depends on everybody's own situation. Sometimes renting is more affordable. Like we're finding that out now that renting is just more affordable and we're not in a rush. So um, it just depends. But 40 years is crazy. Market share. So first time home buyers only represent 21% of all home buyers, record low. Yeah, it makes sense just with the cost of housing nowadays. Income levels. For a typical first-time home buyer has a household income of approximately 97,000, increased 26,000 over the past 2 years. That's crazy. Um, that's from today's homeowner. Yeah, again, it's right around what we bring in. So yeah, that is not good. That increase in just 2 years. Down payment. So the median down payment's about 9%, which is a little bit higher than I thought because what I've read and seen is usually first time home buyers, it's like 3 to 5% is what's allowed or what's common. So the median being 9% is interesting. So this stat here talks about possibly, relying on family gifts or loans to assist with this cost. So yeah, with the housing costs and trying to get help from family or loans to assist with the down payment. Um, yeah, that's interesting. Financing. So yeah, 91%. This isn't crazy at all because, most people aren't paying full cash for a house, their first house. So uh, almost everybody has to take out a loan and finance. So this isn't anything new. High prices and interest rates. Yeah. Yeah, interest rates, are up there, but they're slowly coming back down. I don't think we'll ever get back to like COVID rates, but they are coming down a little bit. So, and honestly, it's more about like when each individual is ready to purchase a home instead of trying to time things. So, uh, yeah, I mean, interest rates, they are what they are. That's not really too big of a factor for us. We're more following different, guidelines and on our own timeline. Inventory shortages. Yeah, there's a limited availability of affordable homes, and yeah, it's leading to a competitive market. So it's definitely something we're gonna have to navigate when we look to purchase. It's just the competition. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And then here are just some common guidelines that I pulled up. I thought might be helpful. So financial readiness. Yeah, so assess your income, expenses, debt, savings. Ensure you're financially prepared for home ownership. Um, yeah, solid job history, reliable income is big. Budget, so yeah, we being a finance channel, like obviously we're big on budgeting and everything. So you want to be, um, you know, in step with your budget and make sure you have everything planned out, you got money saved and everything. Understand the full cost of home ownership. That's what I had to learn. I thought, oh, we just got to save, for a down payment. No, there's a lot of other fees that go with it, closing costs, and other payments that or costs that add up when time for closing. So, um, credit score, we're gonna go over that, but yeah, just trying to improve your credit score. That makes sense. Home inspection, yeah, thorough home inspection for and appraisal before finalizing the purchase. This is just covering all your bases. Mortgage options. To be honest, I'm not too familiar with all of them. I know VA loans, obviously for veterans, and then conventional is what we're probably planning to do. 30-year conventional. Pre-approval, get approved for a mortgage to strengthen your offer and streamline buying process. So definitely look to do that. But yeah, we're still learning. Don't know everything about the whole process, but we're learning as we go. So hopefully, for those of you that are in similar situations, you can relate. All right, here we have our little Hatch Home Buying Guide that I put together, just a little spreadsheet really quick. So you can see the top section here. So the planning. So basically, I just want to put stuff to paper and just be able to visualize everything. So our time horizon changed from 3 years up to 5. Our credit score goal is 800. That's for both Aaliyah and I's credit score. Try to get it up to 800. I think it's possible within 5 years. Just keep paying our credit cards down every month and staying on the right path. Our house price range, I put 350,000. We won't really know until for sure, have a more accurate price range until, it gets closer. But right now we're thinking 350,000. So things change. My income could jump up within 5 years. And with Aaliyah going back to work, that'll also help. So maybe we're making, a solid amount more than we are right now. So, but 350 is what we're aiming for right now. Closing cost savings. So what I did to calculate the 12,000 was I found like the average range of closing costs percentage of the total purchase price. So I think it was like 3 to 7 or 5 to 10. I can't remember, but basically I just took it right down the middle, which is about like 12,000. But 12,000 I think is a good guy or a good goal. And then our down payment goal, 5%. We want to put down 5%, be willing to put down 3%. But again, just trying to set goals here so that at least if we don't hit this, we'll get close. So and for this it's about 17.5. So those both of those added up is 29,500, but we just rounded it up to 30,000. So our goal within 5 years is 30,000. So I think that's really doable. So I mean, what, 5 years from now? So 30,000 divided by five. I should have been able to do that in my head, but it's about $6,000 a year. And so with my employee stock purchase plan, currently doing about 3% each year. So if we boost that up to 5%, that's 5,000 a year. And then also, we'll get windfalls here and there, like bonuses and tax returns and everything that we can also piece together and add towards this. So I think this is very doable if we just stay on track. So the next section here is the Money Guy checklist. I really like the Money Guy's house buying questions to get you thinking about, are you really ready to purchase a home? So they ask, how long is my time horizon? Because they preach, you should be, when you buy a house, you should at least plan to be in it for about 5 years. So I think when we buy a house, it's for sure at least 5, 7 years. We want to find a place and, really set roots and be stable, let the kids grow up, go through school, make friends. So we don't want to be moving around a lot. So this is really our time when we want to set roots. What's the location of interest? So we have about 2 to 3 locations narrowed that we've really been looking at, school districts, just like crime rates and everything, all of that such. So we have about 2 or 3 locations narrowed down that we're really, slowly been looking on Zillow and other websites or apps to just kind of get an idea of what's for sale right now. But yeah, we have 2 to 3 locations ready. What is my family situation? So we plan on having a third child around the time we're going to purchase a house, maybe a little bit after, but we do have plan on having a third child. So we're going to need at least 4 beds. So each child will have their own bedroom. But that's one of our items on our list is it's got to be a 4 bedroom. Do we have a good job security? Yes, there are a lot of opportunities in the area. I think I'm with a great company, and um, hopefully nothing crazy happens. But I think we do. I do have good job security for now, and we're also going to be waiting till Aaliyah heads back to work. So we're going to just have that second income, reduce a little bit of risk. So I plan on both of us, having good job security by the time the purchase of a house comes. And then how big is our emergency fund? So our emergency fund is going to be at 6 months by the end of this year. And we are not dipping into that at all for any of our um, home purchase costs. We want that 6 months to be completely separate from our housing costs that we have to pay when we purchase. So um, that's one of our non-negotiables is like we gotta have 6 month emergency fund at the very least. So that'll be in place by the end of the year. Do I have an adequate down payment? Not right now, but we do plan on saving up a solid one, so 5% or 20,000. Those are our two goals, targets that we're trying to hit. Now, I think we'd be okay with 3%, but our target is really 5% or 20,000. So we'll see what our income is around that time and be able to narrow down a purchase price of what we're looking for and then be able to get a more accurate down payment of what we need. Do I have stable cash flow, comfortable housing cost ceiling? So basically the money guys are talking about you shouldn't be spending more of like 25% of your gross income on like housing costs. So that includes everything like mortgage, utilities, etc. So really, like, I like the 25%, but also, for our situation, I would feel comfortable like even just pushing that up to 28, 29%, as long as it stays under 30%. I think that's fine. So yeah, anywhere between 25, 30% is will work for us, but nothing above that. So and we were pretty good at budgeting, so I think we'll be okay there. Um, so it's a pretty good rule. I do like that rule though. It kind of helps avoid being house poor, where you purchase a house, but you don't have money to do anything else because all your money or most of your money is going towards housing costs. So this kind of prevents that and keeps everything in check. What is my credit score? So again, we want to get our credit score to 800. Currently, both of our credit scores are between 750, 800. So, but hopefully, within 5 years, we can get them both up to 800 and just help us out with getting a loan and everything. So, all right, our decision status. Are we ready to buy today? Absolutely not. What's missing? Well, we need 6 months of emergency fund, and we need that additional savings buffer. So that's that 30,000, our total savings goal up here. And we don't have that yet. We have about 3,000 currently, so we have a start, but yeah, still got some work to do. And then second income, we're waiting for Aaliyah to return to work, whether it be part time, full time, um, just so we have that second income to really reduce risk. So something happens, to my income or something, at least we'll have that other income from Aaliyah to really help us and keep us going until I can find something new. But we don't plan on that happening, but it's worst case scenario. Um, and then last piece, just maintain credit and build credit. So that's where we're at today. And then here's just a few of our non-negotiables that we kind of went over earlier. So housing costs can't exceed 25, 30% of gross income. I'm not gonna speak too much on this. We already went over this. Emergency fund drops below 6 months after closing. So, we cannot touch our 6 month emergency fund. That is a hard no. So we already touched on this a little bit, but yeah, 6 months hard. Have to have 6 months before purchasing that we do not touch. And then purchase depends on dual income. Yeah, so again, we just need to have that dual income before we purchase. So this is just kind of like our little guide to get our thoughts out and to keep us motivated. So This is what we're using. And then I really just want to really quickly just jump over like our previous plan and show the difference. So our previous plan here is 3 to 5% a year into ESPP. Again, that's the employee stock purchase plan. I get a 15% discount. So our plan was to sell as soon as possible after each purchase, take the gains, pay a little in taxes, income tax, but still we'd get a pretty solid gain. And then we would reinvest that cash into a money market fund, be super conservative, and basically just hold that amount and preserve our cash until it's ready to purchase a home. So that was our previous plan, and now our updated plan uh, still continued, 3 to 5% into ESPP each year. Again, to sell as soon as possible. That's not changing. But what is changing is we're gonna invest part of the cash from the sale of our ESPP into a little bit into SP 500 ETF, and then most of it into that money market fund. So getting a little more aggressive, but not too aggressive, still staying pretty conservative. But, being 5 years out, I think it gives us a little more leeway to kind of try to grow our money a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. So that's why most of it's still in that money market fund, just so that, if the market does downturn, like we're still protected. But we do want to try to get a little bit of gains out of some of it. So 5 years out, we'll do 30%, 4 years out, 20%, 3 years, 10%. And then, we're 2 years out. Nope, stop that. And we're just fully 100% money market fund and trying to preserve. So this is our updated plan. Still pretty conservative, but still trying to capitalize on some gains. And again, I just want to summarize, the reason we're changing our plan is because really like our risk. We want to reduce risk, man. Like that's the biggest thing for us right now is just that's always on my mind is just risk. So I think waiting a little bit longer, being able to save up a good down payment, save for additional costs, like I think that just really will help us out. And we're not in any rush either. It's like right now we enjoy renting. I mean, we don't enjoy it, but it works for us because, costs are predictable. If something, the AC or something goes out, it's like we're not responsible. The landlord is. So we kind of appreciate that right now. But we do eventually want to buy a house just to get that stability, So want that stability to set roots. But for now, renting works for us. And I think just having those predictable expenses is really helpful for us right now as we're a young family and still growing. So here's our updated plan. We've laid it out, went over some data. And hopefully, if you're in a similar situation looking to buy a house, that this content's helpful. I just want to remind everyone, this channel documents our family's real journey, real time. So if you want to follow along and take something from our experience, feel free to subscribe. And again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.